levels of great growth stocks. We wait for bad things to happen to good companies. But at this point, I wouldn't buy the indices just because it's been positive. That's not usually a good investment way to go about things.
Okay. AC, it's a pleasure to get your time on this day after New Year's. AC Moore with us. On Wall Street, Dell offering consumers 0% financing on everything from digital music players to television sets to personal computers. This as the PC maker tries to win market share in the consumer electronics market. Dell ending the session up 31 cents at $34.29 a share. And with the rest of today's news headlines, here's Tom Costello. Tom.
Dylan, thank you very much. If you're just joining us, Franklin Templeton telling CNBC's Corey Johnson today that it has received a subpoena from the California Attorney General's office. Authorities are investigating whether broker-dealers refuse to disclose compensation arrangements with mutual funds. Now, the new law empowering the Attorney General, it's called SB 434. It went into effect today. It is the first such action by California's Democratic Attorney General, Bill Lockyer. Late this afternoon, Reuters reported that the state's Attorney General is, in fact, probing 3 California-based mutual funds. However, he is declining to name the funds. One of the big stock stories of the day was the drug distributors. Those stocks were dumped on, well, it was dumped today during the session. McKesson won a $3 billion a year deal to provide drugs to the Veterans Administration. AmerisourceBergen was the previous holder of that contract. The stock sold off on concern that McKesson had to slash prices so low to land the deal that its rivals will have to follow suit. Take a look at how those stocks fared today. All of them down. McKesson down $1.36. Amerisource down, as well as Cardinal Health. And steel stocks were among today's best performing sectors. Some of them even hit 52-week highs on news that the Chinese government announced it's getting rid of tariffs on American steel imports. That after the Bush administration decision last month to abandon its tariffs on steel imported into the U.S. Here's how those stocks fared today. All of them in the green. And finally, a look on how the stock market closed out the session today. And as you heard earlier from the session, it was, in fact, a pretty good day for the NASDAQ. The S&P was marginally higher than the Dow, which was higher throughout the session, gave background late in the session, and lost about 48 points, I believe. Dylan, back to you.
All right, Tom, thank you very much. As we come off the best market in years and square up to the new year with expectations of a strengthening economy, many still wonder, where are the jobs? The cover story in Barron's this week. Tomorrow's jobs, a look at how America keeps losing jobs to India and China and where the new jobs in America will come from. Joining us now, senior editor at Barron's, Mike Santoli. And Mike, you make the case that there's plenty of jobs coming and that in many cases we're making a mountain out of a molehill with the jobs that are going overseas.
That's right, yeah. I mean, our economics editor, Gene Epstein, who wrote the piece, makes the case that really refuting the idea that jobs actually move overseas in any large way. It's technology, it's productivity, it's changing tastes that really reduces certain job categories, and those same things actually give way to new job categories. So obviously, financial services not going to go away.
Well, you say that, but we've watched a lot of the research-related jobs go overseas, and there's a lot of speculation we'll see more of it.
There's a tremendous amount of anecdotal evidence and very little in the way of actual aggregate data that indicate that jobs move overseas. For the most part, domestic demand is filled domestically. Domestic manufactured goods output, the value of it has increased, even while people say that jobs are moving overseas. The jobs overseas are usually meant to serve the overseas market. Without a doubt, some people are sending call centers over there. Some people are going to farm out research functions. But we make the argument that certain intellectual capital categories are just in long-term secular uptrends when it comes to jobs in this country.
Do you believe that the assertion that China and India are a threat in any way to our job market is ill-founded?
Largely ill-founded. I do believe that absolutely a threat to certain job categories, but
Which
not
ones?
a threat in aggregate. Well, for example, we're probably going to end up outsourcing certain healthcare functions. They're going to read MRIs in China at some point down the road. But a lot of this is going to be for demographic reasons over here. With the baby boomers aging, obviously the demand for certain types of services is going to outstrip our domestic ability to supply them. So yes, there's no doubt that certain job categories are under threat. And I also think that you can't really minimize the frictional effects of these structural changes going on. Obviously, people are genuinely impacted by these things in isolated numbers, but in aggregate, we haven't noticed the economy slow down from the plunge in secretarial jobs in this country since 1989. Nobody believes secretarial jobs went overseas. They just declined for other reasons.
American jobs of the future, you give us 5 categories. Walk through which of the 5 you believe will be the most robust and which one will take the longest to deliver.
Well, I mean, the certain ones are already growing. This intellectual capital category is very interesting. The number of patents filed here has doubled in the last decade or so. And what that means is advertising folks, patent lawyers, that whole kind of macro category of jobs is something that is just going to continue to grow as people have served niche markets and companies are sort of hollowed out in a different way and don't necessarily manufacture so much here. Entertainment is a play on baby boomers' growing leisure time. Financial services, a play on baby boomers' obvious kind of savings needs as they get later. So we do think that all these categories, and of course technology, we sort of talk about a second wave of technology where it basically kind of integrates actual technology with the sort of knowledge worker world. I know there's a lot of buzzwords flying around here, but we do see these long-term trends playing out in each of these categories. And yeah, we're going to continue to lose farm jobs and we're going to continue to lose factory jobs, but that isn't necessarily going to have any kind of a real fatal impact on the job market overall.
Mike, thanks for your time.
Thank you, Dylan.
Mark Santoli with us. Coming up on Bullseye, it was a wild ride for energy prices in 2003. What's the outlook for 2004? 2 top energy analysts tell you where they see gas prices headed and the business of sports. The year ahead could be another tough one for the National Hockey League's bottom line. Stay with us. Bullseye returns in 2 minutes.
Tonight on CNBC.
The very best of 2003. We'll be remembering some of the favorite moments we've captured here over the past year, the incredible people we've met, and the stories they have shared with us.
The News with Brian Williams, tonight at 7 and 10 p.m. Eastern on CNBC.
One flat rate, right?
Yep.
LA, please. Hey, do you want to be friends? You seem a little tense. Do you mind if we stop and see the Grand Canyon? I can smell the ocean.
Flat rate pricing. Bad idea for taxis. Good idea for online trading. At Ameritrade, you pay 1 flat rate of $10.99 for all internet equity trades. Sign up now and trade commission-free for 5 weeks. Plus, get our 5-second guarantee. Go to Ameritrade.com/TV/ or call 866-373-0622.
What do GNC customers have in common? It's not how big they are, how fast they run, when they were born, or if they work out. It's their desire to make the most of their health and their lives. That's why they rely on premium GNC Mega Men and Women's Ultra Mega Multivitamins, full potency formulas specially designed for the nutritional needs of men and women. GNC, don't just live well.
I have to read the Wall Street Journal every day. If I don't, I feel I've missed something.
There's stuff that I read about, articles about large businesses or small businesses and the things that they're doing to succeed. And then I try and take that and apply that to my little company.
The most surprising thing about the Journal, I like to read it.
Get early morning delivery of the Journal for just 45 cents a day. That's 50% off the regular rate. Call 800-473-3399. That's 800-473-3399 for the Wall Street Journal.
There are 2 kinds of people with hair loss. Those that keep asking, why me? And those that do something about it. I got the permanent solution from the guys who were as determined as I was. You too should make the call.
I'm a member of the 72 Dolphins, so I'm not used to losing anything. When I noticed that I was losing my hair, at first I danced around the issue, then I decided to tackle it permanently. These guys are serious about restoring your hair. Look at me. One call, medical hair restoration.
Wanting hair on your head isn't being vain, it's only being human. MHR understands this. Not only do they have more doctors who are board certified, but most of them have had the procedure themselves. These guys get it. Make the call.
Get your free information package and start regrowing your own hair permanently. Plus, call now and get $300 worth of additional grafts. One call, 1-800-MHR-9470. That's 1-800-MHR-9470.
ride for energy prices in 2003. Crude oil averaging $31 a barrel, the highest average in almost 20 years. And some say prices are likely to remain red hot. So what's in store for 2004, and how will Iraq, Russia, and OPEC all play into the energy picture? With their outlooks, we're joined by Dan Yergin, chairman of Cambridge Energy Research and Associates and CNBC's global energy expert, and Vijay Vaitheswaran, author of the new book on energy, The Power to the People. And Dan, I start with you. Both of you argue that, as interesting as oil prices have been over the past year, that natural gas will be the story in 2004. Dan, what is the story and why do we care?
Well, we care because it's 25% of our energy, and it has a big effect not only on those who heat their homes with natural gas, but also on a lot of basic industries. And we're looking at a tight market in natural gas. It's sensitive to, and we're going to have a tight market for the next couple of years because we have demand increasing from use of natural gas and electric power until we start importing more gas into this country.
Vijay, how much of an economic impact does that present?
Well, this is going to have a short-term impact, no doubt. And consumers, with household bills going up in the colder parts of the country, they've already seen this. But I think that Dan's right to identify the imports of liquefied natural gas. That's really going to be the solution, and why this isn't the kind of crisis some people make it out to be. There is a solution that the market's already working on.
It just takes a couple of years to get there.
Absolutely.
Right.
A couple of years sounds like a long while to wait for a resolution.
Well, it is a big risk for petrochemical industries and other energy-intensive industries. They're the ones that are most vulnerable right now.
Is it so vulnerable, Dan, that you would advise an investment thesis on it?
Well, I think that those companies are really looking at doing their calculations as to how much we're going to export that type of production to other countries with cheaper natural gas. I think we're still, one of the things to watch in 2004 is, as Vijay said, is the timing at which these LNG deals come together, get approvals, and start kind of moving out to sea, so to speak.
Vijay, will crude oil prices come down this year?
I think there's going to be a lot of robustness. If you look at inventory levels, they're quite low. If you see OPEC, it's keeping its cohesion quite strong. It's behaving like a good central banker in a sense, Saudi Arabia especially. But I think Iraq is going to be one key variable. Let's see how the pipelines being blown up and the low-level guerrilla insurgency against Iraqi exports, that's going to be one critical variable. The other variable I see is the U.S. dollar. The weakness of the dollar is affecting the oil markets, and how that plays out in the next year will affect the oil prices.
Dan, are you expecting oil below $30 a barrel this year?
Yeah, at least at this point, we're using $28 as our price for 2004, which is still a high price, and it is the platform. And add to what Vijay said, the other things we have under it are strong demand coming out of China, which is just such a dominant story right now. In fact, it's the triple H. You had 8% economic growth in China, the United States, and the country people are not paying enough attention to, India. So that is adding to the platform under prices.
China, PetroChina's oil company today up more than 10% on the back of news that they won't be using Royal Dutch to distribute oil and their products inside of China. Are we going to see this year a move not just by China but also by Russia and other nations away from using Western oil companies in managing their energy resources?
Well, I think that the China story is quite amazing. PetroChina did its IPO in 2000, and you can see how much the stock has increased. And the interest in it is both as in terms of oil and as a bet on China's economic future. And particularly right now, I think it's reacting to the fact that it's going to exporting natural gas, moving natural gas from the west to the east of the country. But I think you have a very good theme there, Dylan, which is that what is the role of governments going to be? And I think that we're certainly, when we look at the Russian sector and look what's happening, we see a bigger role for the state and a desire to kind of keep control over it, particularly keep control over the management of exports, which are so important to the Russian economy.
Dan Yergin, thank you. Vijay Vaitheswaran, thank you very much for your time. On Bullseye, NHL teams had record losses, nearly $300 million lost last season in the NHL, and now this year they're facing a bargaining over a new collective agreement, or I should say a collective bargaining agreement, with their Players Association. Will there be a lockout? How much will it cost them in Athens? The site of this year's Summer Olympics, will it be a big moneymaker or a financial bust? The business of sports is next on Bullseye.
CNBC Asia. Profit from it.
I don't really agree to the fact that it's a masculine brand. Around 80% of all products sold with a crocodile are bought by women. So I think it's quite naturally for us to have a ladies' line. The Lacoste pour femme woman would say it's an elegant, spontaneous, but elegant but still relaxed lady. Well, first, Lacoste always had a strong link with Asia. Second, Wong Kar-wai is a very talented director and has a very unique and different way to film. So as we also think ourselves as a unique and different brand, we thought it could be a good idea to ask him if he would agree to do that for us, and we are quite proud of the results.
CNBC's Red Hot Weekends. New shows, new entertainment, new on CNBC. The Tonight Show with Jay Leno. Late night talk goes best.
Team got red. Mama, show the kids the money. Live from New York. It's Saturday night.
Saturday Night Live. Emmy Award-winning comedy.
I'm awesome.
MGM Movies. Hollywood's best.
Take them out.
And Outside the Box. You're inside the most interesting and unconventional business stories.
With 4 seconds to grab a guy's attention.
It's all here, sizzling hot.
Love it.
CNBC, spicing up your weekend.
Welcome back to Bullseye. Finally tonight, for 2004 sports business predictions, we are joined by Reed Turner, reporter from USA Today Sports, and Bullseye contributor Hillary Kramer. And Hillary, I'll start things off with you in the Bowl Championship Series. USC wins the game yesterday. There's a lot of hullabaloo about the split championship. I would argue that the split championship is good business, and it creates more interest and it makes more money. Is this a good or a bad thing for college football?
Dylan, you and I are on the same page with this. It's a tradition. It's a 100-year tradition, and it makes the most sense in terms of money, in terms of not interrupting the final season in academics for school. It brings more schools into the mix. If you go to a program which would be, let's say, 16 schools like the NCAA has, and you do a whole playoff, what's the point in the bowl program? And the bowls right now bring in so much money for sponsorships, and they bring in the fan loyalty. And yes, the system was confusing this year, but Dylan, I'd say let's stick with the bowl program as we have it.
Is the program as it is good business, Reed?
Well, it's great business, but it's a business in which it's impossible to lose money no matter how you do it. Problem is every sports fan hates the way it's set up.
That's good business.
That's very good business then. If you can't lose money doing it, go on.
No, you can't lose money. No matter how you do it with these bowls, it just brings in money. It's a license to print money. The problem is that every sports fan hates the way it's set up. Monetarily, you just make money. No matter whether you had a championship series, whether you do the bowls, whether you do a playoff or whatever, the money just rolls in. I mean, it rolls in for basketball. It rolls in the way it is now for football. So, financially, you're in a no-lose situation. Sports-wise, that's something completely different.
Hillary, how big will the ripples of the Kobe Bryant case be?
Oh, this is going to be the trial of certainly of the year, bigger than Martha Stewart. The ripples in terms of endorsements, it's not going to hurt the sports world as much. Kobe Bryant is still as popular as ever, and he has loyal fans that watch him, and his reputation as a father, a husband, and a real team player has not been tarnished as people would expect.
You buy that, Reed?
Well, I buy it a little bit. I agree with Hillary. The question is, do you get that snowball effect? If Sprite distance themselves from, do then the sneaker people distance themselves? I don't know how it's going to work.
I want to get to the NHL, but let's do the Olympics first. Athens reportedly could go very well, may not go very well at all. There's much speculation about just creating security for the Olympics. What are we expecting out of Athens, Reed?
Well, I think everybody will be nervous until the flame goes out and everybody gets on a plane and goes home, security-wise. Money-wise, I think everybody's expecting it to be a windfall. I hate to sound like a 2004 Pollyanna, but the Olympics, again, is something that's hard, it has become hard to lose money on.
I believe when it comes to the Olympics, the focus has got to be on security and on also it being an arena, Dylan, an arena where all the countries come out and it's still as important as ever. So I agree there. And what's so fascinating is that we're seeing just as much interest and excitement in 2008 with China. So I think that's really important that we're going out so many years. It shows that there's a lasting effect on the Olympics. But one concern I do have is on the United States side, and Security Roots, as we know, the Canadian company, apparel maker, is making the apparel and the athletic gear again for the U.S. team, and they're making a special emphasis on being low profile and not showing too much USA, and that bothers me. That's concerning.
Okay. Well, and we'll leave it right there. Thank you very much, Hillary.
Thanks.
Reed, thank you for your time. Reed Turner, USA Today Sports. That does it for Bullseye on this Friday evening. It is, after all, your money. The news.
CNBC Asia. Profit from it. And now, Nokia brings you eLife.
I guess the sort of design philosophy in Nokia is...
家具年终大拍卖，所有厂牌名床全面29折，欧风床组12000，高级皮沙发9900，进口布沙发1万块。整组餐桌椅3700，内湖民权大桥旁，电话27923888。巨人家具，家具巨人。
欧森 Cable Modem Cable Phone 惊喜连连大方送，宽频标网加电话哈拉，天天最低只要25元，送您万元热门3C 优惠券，还可免费畅玩彩虹冒险 Online Game。现在申办哈拉 A 奖金，惊喜连连，省多赚更多。详情请洽0860300550。
eLife was brought to you by Nokia, connecting people.
In the middle of the ocean, in the middle of the desert, vast energy resources have been locked, far from markets. So we're working across the globe, building partnerships, and taking our commitment deeper and farther to deliver energy and all the growth and promise that come with it. Chevron Texaco, turning partnership into energy.
Keeping you informed and ahead. CNBC. Profit from it.
Every minute, every hour, all day, every trading day. From Europe to the US and across Asia.
Let's get straight to the market.
CNBC has all the latest business news and up-to-the-minute financial information.
Wall Street's a
Pretty positive start to keep you informed and connected to the global and regional economies and businesses. CNBC. Profit from it.
Market
On the Asian stock market this morning.
The only show that keeps you up to date with the day's market movers across Asia.
Numbers should bode well.
The other big story.
Live market coverage and real-time data as the trading day heats up.
Scoop. Analysts like this one.
Breaking news.
Huge flight into bond markets.
Business opportunities that could make you money.
Strong cash flow, strong balance sheets. And that's the sort of thing you need to focus on.
Your money is their business.
What defensive actions do you recommend? Asset allocation, most important.
Make sure you're watching. Market Watch.